Hey everybody, here's a quick video for the basic editing section of our course content where we'll just kind of get into Adobe Premiere and work with some of the tutorials on the adobe.com site, starting with create a project and import a clip. If you click on that, you'll come to this page. At the top of this page, there's a download sample files, which I've downloaded, and it creates a zip file, or downloads a zip file. And if you double click that zip file, it should open up a whole folder. And I'm going to put that folder into a COM241 folder that I've made here on my computer, which is here inside my Fall 23 folder. So inside my documents and then COM241, I'm also going to have a project folder for the stuff we're working on called Create Project Import Media, which I downloaded and unzipped. And in here you can see that there are 3 different projects. I'm just going to go for the one labeled Step 1 and double click it, and it's going to start to open Adobe Premiere. When Adobe Premiere opens for you, if it's the first time you've used it, you may see a couple different things. One, these project files were made for a slightly older version. So we're just going to click on this thing here that says, do you want to convert the project to the newest format? It's going to save it in that same folder, and I'm going to hit OK. 2, you may have like a Adobe splash screen that tells you all about it. You may also have a Learn tab over here in this view. A couple ways you can get rid of it. You can always click on this little triple stack here and go to Close Panel to get that out of there. But now I see the normal format here for Adobe Premiere, which can be a little overwhelming. They've also added this new import and export tabs up here, and then the home screen, which goes back to the loading area. But I'm going to make sure I'm in the workspace for all panels. Usually that's the easiest thing. You'll have access to everything that Adobe Premiere has to offer. So it changes slightly, where I've now got a bunch of different panels over here on the right that we will get to eventually through the semester. I've also got the project panel down here in the bottom left, and inside this little media files folder, I've got other clips. You may have come up to a slightly different view where it shows you big icons for this folder. I like to switch over here to the list view. That way I can kind of look at everything small down here. If I double click these icons that are purple and green, which means there is video with audio attached, if I double click it, I can see up here in this window that, I have some footage and it may have some audio attached to it. If I look at the audio tab here, there isn't actually audio there, but the audio is just blank. But I've got footage of this village, I've got footage of these pyramids, and I've got footage of this archway here with a clock tower in the middle of this town. I've also got a couple more folders here, a voiceover, and then some music. And this time when I double click this audio file, there's no video attached to it, so it just shows me the waveform for the file. You can see here I can click and move around, or I can click this blue dot here to change the current time that I'm looking at. This thing runs for 1 minute and 5 seconds, but there's a little bit of dead air at the beginning and end, so it's probably exactly 1 minute. You can hit the play button there to listen to it. And also, over here on the right, we've got a sequence, and they've already edited a nice sequence with music and a voiceover, and that's eventually what you're going to build. So since we don't want to copy them, we're just going to close that. And I'm going to get started here by clicking a clip. The first thing we're going to make is just cut some footage to the music that's up here, Going Home music. So I'm going to pick my first clip. I'm marking an in and an out point up here in the source window. And I want this to run for about 2 seconds. So I have already changed these in and out points. You can change those by moving to whatever current time and clicking on mark in or clicking on mark out. Or if you hover over those tools there, I can hit I or O on the keyboard and that's a good way to mark the ins and out points of just what we want to use of that clip. Then I'm going to drag that to where it says drag media here to create a sequence. So I've got a little plus sign in the hand, and when I do that, it creates a sequence. So now I see the same footage over here. It's at the starting point. The thing I don't like is it has the name of the clip. So immediately after I do that, I want to go over here and name this clip Willis Travelogue. That's what I'm going to name it, and hopefully spell correctly. So now I've got this name here. And a good thing about changing that is when I export, that's probably the file name I want to export it with. Also, I won't confuse it with this clip with the exact same name. This is the clip of just that one little piece of video, and this is the sequence where I'm going to put together all these clips. Now I'm going to go back and put in the going home music. So I'm going to double click that. You can't drag from the picture the same way with the audio. You have to grab it here and drag it in, or you can also just drag it straight from the project window. I'm actually going to make sure though that I don't have all the extra dead air. So it starts out, it fades up, but then right here the music fades down, and I'm going to cut right there. Gets it a little closer to 1 minute. I could honestly speed this whole thing up a little bit or cut off a little bit of this build at the beginning, but it looks like it's going to be 1 minute and 1 second. It's going to bother my OCD, but I'm going to let it go. All right, so now I've got music in here, and I can drag this timeline around up here. I can hit the playback and pause button up here, or I can hit the space bar on my keyboard. So there's my footage of this place that I do not know where they're at. I'm going to start adding more clips. So I'm going to go from maybe the village to these guys playing some football. Drop that in here. When I drag this over, I want to make sure I don't cover up any of this, so it should snap to the end of the last clip. I also don't want to cover up this audio, the music there. So I've got the audio on A2, and then the music on A2, and then all the audio, if there was related audio like the rain sound or the splash, that would be on A1. I don't think there's any audio there though. Now I'm running out of space in here. If I were to let it play past here, it would scroll past it. But what I want to do is zoom out. So I'm hitting Command, or actually I'm hitting minus up here on my keyboard. Plus and minus expands or contracts the timeline. I'm going to get it to where I can see the whole thing. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some more clips. I'm just going to kind of randomly throw these in there. And I'm actually going to just select a whole bunch of clips, everything else that we've got, and throw it in my timeline. Let's see. I'm going to drag it from here where I can drag multiple clips at one time. Throw those in my timeline and just kind of hope they're good for right now. This is just trying to edit fast. Pyramids. And then, just since that's as far as it goes, I'm going to shorten this track, and then I'm going to make it fade out. So the audio is going to fade out here with an audio transition. The audio transition's a crossfade. There's a little folder for it, and I'm going to grab constant power. I'm going to drag it and drop it on the end of this clip. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit so it makes more sense. Go to the end. Let's see, go to the end. And then when I drag constant power down here, point to just the inside of the green where it lights up kind of blue. And now that music will just fade out wherever it is. Also, I'm going to double click it. Right now it's 1 second long. I'm going to change that to 4 seconds long of a fade out. So I'm just double clicked the clip and changing the duration to 400, which it equates to 4 seconds. And then it's going to do a slower fade. Also, since the music fades out, I want the video to fade out as well. To do that, I could go to video transitions up here and grab a dissolve, a cross dissolve, and drop on there. And then it fades out. But another quicker way if you point in between any clips or point to the end of a clip and get that red, click it once and get that red end of it highlighted, I could hit Command D on the keyboard, and that does the default transition, which is a cross dissolve, which is pretty handy. I'm going to go to the very beginning and make a cross dissolve from the very beginning as well, so it fades in from black. And here's what I've got so far. I also noticed that the music hits right here. A lot of times it's nice when an edit happens exactly when the music changes. So I'm just going to stretch out the soccer footage and then see if I can stretch out the city footage. And so that way when the kids play soccer, but we'll talk more about cutting to the beat later. All right, so basically I made a little travelogue video here with some music and some footage. I'm ready to export that. We want to export all of our projects this semester as H.264 files. So the format right here is H.264. The preset of match source will be fine. It's going to save it in my movies folder, and I'm actually going to change that. Make sure I know where it's saving it to, which is going to be my Fall 23, Com241. And I think I'm just going to put it in this main folder here. It's going to be called Willa's Travelogue. I'm going to hit save. And then it's not actually creating the file yet. It doesn't do that until I click export. Then it's going to take a few seconds to create this file. And then I will be able to go to that folder and see my project as an exported video that I could then upload to YouTube or share with people. And that's what I want you to turn in to the link on eLearn. You'll upload your file there, and we'll get more advanced next week. Let me know if you have any questions.